Welcome to the Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Fit, the all-in-one AI-powered corporate wellness platform developed by Vantage Circle.
The last couple of years have been nothing short of a terrifying roller coaster ride. People around the world were rocked by the ravaging threat to health that we all know as the COVID-19 pandemic. Businesses, big and small, were forced to change their ways as per international safety standards and nationwide lockdowns. Many had no other option but to shut down their businesses. However, many continued to operate thanks to remote working. While remote working has been somewhat of a boon for organizations, it has also impacted the latter negatively. Employee health is one aspect that has been impacted significantly by remote working. Today, I have with me Ms. Natalie Floyd, the Director of Business Development at Rembrandt Awards. Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
Hope you're doing great.
I am doing great, thank you.
In this podcast, we will learn Natalie's views on how remote working has impacted employee health and well-being. Would you kindly introduce yourself to our listeners?
Hi, my name is Natalie Floyd, and I am the Director of Business Development at Rembrandt Awards.
Thanks a lot. Let us start by knowing your thoughts on remote working in today's world.
So I think the remote working is something that can benefit employees and employers. It can have some negative effects, but I feel like there's a lot of positives in it. And I feel like it's kind of a move that has been needed to be done for a long time, like having more people working remote. Because one of the major benefits is there's less cars on the road, which is great. Like, it's just great for people who do have to commute. It's great for people who are in delivery and all of that. And then it's great for, the earth, the planets, the ozone layer. There's less emissions going on a regular basis. As employers, you can have a better pick of employees because you don't have to have somebody who's like always in close proximity. So you kind of can widen your options. So if you wanted to hire someone further away, you could do that as well. And as an employee, you save money on your gas, you save, your time, you're going to be eating at home, which means you're going to have more home cooked meals. So there's a benefit in that aspect as well.
Okay, so basically the employers get the benefit of being healthy as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the many positives of remote working, along with what you said, what was that it enabled organizations to continue their business operations during the lockdown period. But what would you like to say about the negatives?
So I think some negatives, especially like just reading through newspaper articles, there was some negatives that are happening where some employees were taking advantage of it and were actually doing like two jobs without the other job knowing that they were doing the other job. So like that was definitely like a negative, having that kind of thing happen. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I find is that isolating yourself, being at home, you don't have that social aspect necessarily. So there can be some isolation, so it can cause some mental health problems with that. And I mean, again, like just not getting up and having like a regular, you still have that regular schedule, but I think it could be really easy for people to fall into like not getting up on time, not running, need to on-demand schedule. So people could end up sleeping till 5 minutes before they're supposed to start, or maybe they overslept multiple times during the week, or they're staying up later because they know they don't have to get up.
Yeah.
So those are the negatives that I see that could happen.
So how would you describe the impact of remote work on employee health?
So, okay, there's negatives. There could be benefits as well. So there's definitely a negative that, their health in the aspect of, like I said, like the isolation. So more on the mental health side. But what could benefit them from being at home is that they could have, fitness equipment at home. They could take like a 10-minute break and they're in their own personal space where they could do a workout, That I find is like a huge benefit. It does open up a lot more opportunity. Not only that, because you've now taken away a commute, and for me where I live, most people commute to work because we don't have a huge infrastructure in my town. So majority of people are driving a minimum of 20 minutes up to their commute could be up to an hour or 2 hours. Like when I hear of where people actually work that live here, it's crazy how long their commute is. And you add traffic to that and it could be even longer. Really? So taking away that commute, like think about having, 2 hours of commuting in a day. So that's an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. Now you've opened up 2 more hours of your day. So you can have more workouts in the morning or workouts in the evening, or even scattered throughout the day. You don't have to worry about being sweaty at work because you're at home. You're not around your peers. And then if you need to be around your peers, and I think more places should do this, where you could be on Zoom all day and, you can see your people and have that social interaction as well.
That's definitely an interesting take. However, many employees worldwide reported that they suffered from mental health issues like stress and anxiety while working from home. Would you like to comment on that?
I guess to me, it's more of like, I could see it happening. And I feel like it just depends on your whole living situation and what is the atmosphere you're living in. And I mean, not getting out of the house is definitely a negative for people like it, because you can feel very stuck. So even just going out and going for a walk can make a difference in that whole feeling. But also keeping your spaces, clean and organized, and making sure that when you wake up in the morning, you don't have like your kitchen sink full of dishes, because those are things that can definitely make you just feel like down and drowned. When you leave your house to go to work, you don't have to think about anything else that's at your home.
Yeah.
So to me, like that's a big thing that could definitely affect it. And then there's also, like I said, that lack of social interaction. So people could be like, I think that being on the Zoom could create that home office for you.
Yeah.
Having your Zoom videos on during the day, and then, you have your social interaction and stuff throughout the day.
So along with mental health issues and social isolation, weight gain and a lack of physical activity are also quite common among remote employees. What do you think causes this? Did you experience anything similar?
Weight gain and lack of physical activity is, I don't know about you, but when I spend a day at home, it's like my step count's like 1,000 steps. So again, it's not getting out and being like having to do something. So like you have to, and depending on the space you live in, imagine somebody just lives in a condo, an apartment.
Exactly.
At least I have like foot room to walk, and I always have to go up and down stairs in my house to get anywhere. So I think it's that aspect. So again, you have to kind of build that into your new lifestyle. And that's where I think people struggle, is finding that, because all you want to do is get up, do your job, and then have your day, and that's it. So it's being able to get that motivation and find the things to do. And like for us here, like when it's winter time, like there is zero motivation to go outside. Yeah. So, but
even harder.
For me, when I have to walk my kid to the bus stop through the whole winter, I'm like, I'm going to walk him to the bus stop, and then I'm going to walk some more and then come home. So that to me was a bonus. And I was able to do that as well, being on mat leave. So when I go back to work, if I work from home, I could do that. But if I don't work from home, if I go into the office, I won't be able to do that because I won't have the time to do it.
So during the winter, what was your step count then?
Oh, I did good in the winter, actually. I would get close to, I would say daily, I was doing like 7,000 to 10,000 steps.
That's great.
So, but I did find like I would always up my step count when I did challenges. Mm-hmm. There's just a little bit more motivation behind that. So I would just park my car further away from where I was going, so I'd get extra steps, or, take the stairs so I'd get extra steps. Like I would just do little things to get extra steps.
So talking about motivation, some employees need to be motivated to stay fit and adopt healthy behaviors. For this purpose, corporate wellness programs have become widely popular in organizations, especially during the pandemic. What do you think of such programs, and would you say they are beneficial?
Yeah, corporate wellness programs are great. Like anything to motivate people to be better and to be healthy is good, because that's what people need, especially people who struggle with their health.
Yeah.
And the reason why they need it is because if they're struggling with their health, it's, probably their lifestyle. Obviously, it's their lifestyle and why they're struggling with it. But being able to go somewhere, and even if it is remote, but being able to be with a group of people who are also going to motivate you, and having that connection with your employees or your coworkers is amazing, because then you get to do it together and it becomes more of a fun thing to do together. And then you're achieving your goals without even really like putting an over excessive amount of focus on them.
Correct.
And I think taking just little steps in the right direction really help. And it may take longer, but I find a lot of times when people try to get on track with their health, they want to make this like big change really quick and they want results really fast. But with a corporate wellness program, you can just add in little things. Like you can do little challenges of step goals. You can do like little challenges of drinking more water every day. And like just adding all these little things together,
Correct.
You'll see results.
We all know that digital technology is taking the world by storm. During the pandemic, more and more people started using wearable devices and wellness apps to track their health and fitness. Do you reckon that wellness technology is transforming the scenario in organizations as well?
Yeah, so the digital technology, like within organizations, so because they can now have these wellness apps on their phone and do like corporate programs, I think it's great. Like it's going to change how these organizations are and how people are with each other. And it's going to benefit you because you can always track what's going on your smartphone. And more people are getting smartphones. And I say that because we know like everybody has a phone, but there is still, and I just know it from this industry that I'm in, there is still a lot of people who either they don't have a phone or they don't even have a smartphone. And so it's taken a while. And even just for the 20 years that I've been working at Rembrandt, we have gone from when I first started at Rembrandt, we were doing paper programs and slowly starting online. And that whole shift is, we're getting closer and closer to that point where like everybody can get online. We're still not quite there, but we're pretty close. So I'd say like 99% of people can get online some way. But then it's same with the digital technology. So the more and more people that get up to date with that, then the more they're going to be able to use these wellness apps and have these benefits. And we'll be able to keep people engaged in the programs because it's always going to be with them with their phone.
Yeah. Looking at the bigger picture, remote working is widely being considered as the future of work. In a world where employees work remotely, how do you think employers would be able to gauge the health of their workers?
So I would say right now, like for employers to be able to gauge the health of their workers, the only way they can is like they have to speak to them. They have to open up that conversation.
Yeah.
So it's really hard because it's not like, you just click on a Zoom and say, hey, how are you doing? Everything good today? You eating well, getting exercise in? So the benefit of having a corporate wellness program is that you can, see that your employees are doing well.
Exactly.
You can see that, you don't have to see the specifics of it, but you can see that they're improving and you can see if they're interacting. And then if they're not, then you have reason to say, hey, like, I haven't seen you update your water intake or your steps or and then on the other side, when people are doing more, you can, reach out to them and say, hey, look, I've noticed you've done a lot more steps. You're doing a great job. I saw your workouts. So things like that could happen.
So what measures would you recommend employers to take to help them minimize the health effects of remote employees and also improve their physical and mental well-being?
So I think for them, definitely implementing like a health and wellness corporate program, using the app. Those are things that can definitely help your employees, especially in the remote work.
Yeah.
and just checking in with them as well, like, based on those things, and making sure everybody's getting involved and everybody has that as a focus, and like keeping it as an importance to everybody.
Yeah.
Having weekly reminders or monthly reminders or daily reminders, however you want to do it, just keeping everybody engaged in that. And also, as an employer, I think it's really important to have your door always open to employees if they are struggling. So, and I think with the remote work, as great as it can be, I feel like there always needs to be that option to be able to go into the office sometimes so that you can get that interaction.
Yeah, that definitely helps a lot.
Yeah, and it might be something that people, like I said, when it comes to mental health, there are so many factors that can affect a person as to why they're struggling with their mental health. And I don't think that an employer can ever really know what those factors, I don't think anybody can know other than that individual. So just being able to open up that space for someone to even just to get away, because it could just be within their home. They just need to get out just to clear their mind, and just to, staying at home all the time can be a lot. So being able to get out and go to the office a few times a week and having that option, especially if things just kind of get tough, then that's always a good thing as well.
For our listeners that might not know, Natalie is a former international figure skater, having won many accolades throughout her life. Would you like to share any work from home wellness routine to our listeners, Natalie? I'm sure everyone would love to hear more about it.
So for me, what I like to do is, like I said, I like to do a morning walk.
Okay.
That just like doing anything in the morning really gets you energized and going, and it gets your metabolism running. So that's really important. I always wake up and first thing I do is have a glass of water, and I actually do a glass of lemon water because I don't know, it tastes better.
Uh-huh.
And it's easier to just drink it right down. So, and I like to do a morning walk, and I have like these 30-day challenge workouts that I like to do as well. So sometimes I'll do those in the afternoon when I'm at home. And then in the evening, so then throughout my work day as well, I will get up and move around. Like I always like, don't be sedentary. Don't just sit one place. So I make sure that I'm not like sitting in my kitchen and working in my kitchen. Because then when you have to go for food, it's like right there, right? So yeah, I'll sit downstairs in my office space and work down there. And then when I have to go food, I have to go up 2 sets of stairs, get something to eat, then walk back downstairs, maybe go outside, get some fresh air, come back inside. So make sure you're still taking those breaks and you're not just sitting at your desk all day. I know it's hard to like walk away from what you're working on, but you have to do that throughout the day.
Exactly. Just to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I like to go in the very later on in the evenings, because we have longer days now. I go around like 8 o'clock. I'll go out and I'll rollerblade for about an hour just to keep myself going and energized. And at that point, the kids have gone to bed and everything. So
that's fantastic. It was great having you as our guest here today, Natalie. I'm sure our listeners will love your knowledgeable insights on the various topics we covered. On an ending note, what message would you like to share with our listeners?
I think the most important thing about working remote is speaking and always talking to your employers if there's anything that's not working out for you, and just knowing that like your situation there is going to be what you make of it. So if you feel not happy about the situation, maybe even just the space you're in, just change what's in that space. Maybe bring in some stuff like just to clear your mind, have some soft music playing, or have some of those, what are they called? The oil drop things.
Binaural beats.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Just getting things going in your space. And then if you're struggling, speak to your employer about different things that you could do, and maybe they can open up the opportunity for, working some days in the office, or having that Zoom session with multiple people on. So it's like you're still in that workspace. You don't necessarily need to be talking the whole time, but at least you're seeing each other's faces, and, you can open up that opportunity. So that would be my tip. And always get out for a walk while you can, because it's it's refreshing to go for a walk, even if it's 20 minutes.
Exactly. Thank you for your time once again, Natalie.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. Please do subscribe to Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and our YouTube channel for new episodes.